Should you get started with tax liens or tax deeds is the topic that we're going to discuss. So, as a new tax lien or deed investor getting into this business, it can be very confusing on where to go and what to do. So, we get this question quite a bit. It's like, Dustin, should I start with liens or should I start with deeds? So, one of the biggest things to clear up in this situation is you need to look at individually, like, what are your goals as an investor, and also what is a realistic expectation, right? So, you're going to have a couple different types of profiles of folks who are getting into this. So, if you want to have the lowest risk possible and you're okay waiting some time and you have a decent amount of money to start with, and maybe you want to start with tax liens because remember, they're safe, secure, and predictable. And 95% of the time they redeem. From there, the win-win situation, like the worst case scenario with a tax lien is often the best case because you get the property, right? So for example, for every 20 tax liens you buy, you can end up with a property. So if the property's worth 100 grand, you're buying a lien for 1,000. That means you could be ending up with one property for every 20, which is a huge home run. Now, the drawback of that is your money can be tied up for up to 2 years or a bit more. So for folks who are wanting to start, some people say, yeah, I want to get into this business. And then they'll say, my goal is to quit my job with real estate. And I'll say, all right, what idea are you thinking? Like, oh, I want to start with tax liens. Then I ask them, oh, well, how much do you have set aside? And like, oh, I have $6,000 set aside. And remember, even the best intentioned person, $6,000 isn't going to be enough to quit your job if you want to get into tax liens, because even at the highest ROI of 36%, you're only making 36% per year on, $5,000-6,000, which is not going to get you there in the time frame, right? So from there, it's going to be best for you to start with the tax deeds, because what I love about tax deeds is it is probably the only vehicle of investing where you can buy property cheap, couple $100. There's no other investment vehicles that are as secure and predictable as being able to buy a tax lien or sorry, a tax deed for a couple $100 and to be able to sell it for a couple $1,000s. Now, remember this, when you're starting out with that low of a budget, if it's with tax deeds, then you're probably going to have to put in a little bit more. Well, definitely with tax deeds, they require more work, right? Because you have to always see the property before you buy it. So tax deeds up front are going to be some more work. They're going to be a little higher risk, but you can get that big ROI and that big return when it comes to the tax deed if you put in some elbow grease. So for anybody that's just tuning in, maybe you're tuning into the live stream, I'm Dustin Hahn. Tax liens and deeds have been my name of the game. This will be my 20th year in this business now. It's an amazing business. I use this business to basically quit the oil rigs back in the day, get into real estate, move to California, and I owe it all to tax lien and deed investing. So if you want some more information or want to get started, I give away a free mini course below. It's a free book. You have to click the description and where it says more, and then it'll drop down and there'll be a link there. Folks are always asking, how do we get the book? Click the more button. This is a full mini course to get you started. We've got some on-demand trainings as well. Or if you want my help to get this thing going, you can just book a call and we'll help you get this going. All of that is in the link section below. So coming back to it, you need to figure out which direction you want to go and what makes the most sense and what is realistic. Now, I was just on a call the other day with one of our students, and they're wanting to do Florida tax liens. So remember this when it comes to tax lien investing. One of the reasons why this investment method is so misunderstood and almost underground in a way is, remember, there's no room for a middle person to get in and take a cut. Therefore, there's no multi-billion-dollar industry built around facilitating these things. Like, for example, mortgage brokers, insurance, real estate agents, all multi-billion-dollar businesses who get a profit from, being a middle person in the real estate business. So with the tax liens, they're going to be a little bit different everywhere you go. Okay. And some things to keep in mind. Remember the basic general premises of this business. All right. So in general, Half of the states are lien states, half of the states are deed states, okay? From there, you have a couple hybrid states like Georgia and Texas. And what they are is they are a deed state with a redemption period. So what that means is in Texas, you buy the deed, you have to wait 6 months before you can actually go and sell that property. Georgia's 1 year, okay? However, you get an interest rate if they redeem you. So Georgia 20%, Texas is 25. If it's a homestead exemption, you have to wait a couple more, well, over 2 years for that redemption. But the first year is going to be 25%. The next year is going to be 50%, and it's a penalty. Whereas in the tax lien states, that interest rate is accruing, meaning it ticks over and goes up every single month. All right. So from there, when it comes to Florida, Florida is unique, and I'm laying the outlines or the kind of the unique states here because they are very popular, and it takes a while to kind of get a lay of the land on this stuff. So Florida is tax liens and tax deeds. So in Florida, if you buy a tax lien, Florida is the only place where if your tax lien doesn't redeem, you cannot foreclose on that property. What happens is that tax lien then goes to a tax deed sale. So one of the big benefits of tax lien investing is for every 1 in 20 properties you get, you're going to end up with a property. So except in Florida. So keep that in mind. Now, Florida does have a really good interest rate. It goes up every month. And a unique thing about Florida tax lien sales is if you bid down to 0, you're automatically guaranteed to get 5%, which a lot of people don't know. And that 5% is not accruing. So if you buy a $10,000 certificate, it redeems in a month, you made 5% in 1 month. However, if you buy a tax lien certificate, they don't redeem, you can't foreclose. Florida rolls that over into a tax deed sale. Now, to be fair, that is actually a smarter way to go about it because the state makes more money. In a tax lien state, the state is basically just getting enough money to pay their bills and go off of the expected tax revenue that came in. Whereas in a tax deed state, the government can make more money. But one of the drawbacks of being a tax deed state from the government side is they can't foreclose right away. It could go 3, 4, 5 years before they get all that money back. So Florida's figured it out. They're playing both sides of the coin. And because remember, at the deed sale, the government generally keeps anything over. So if the house is worth 100 grand, the opening bid's 10, it sells for 30, the county can keep 20 grand of that. Now, there is a period of time where the homeowner can claim those excess funds, but they generally don't know that. And then it goes back to the county. So to wrap up this short little live, figure out where you want to start and what you're doing. If you want to start with liens, figure out the best states. Am I in a lien state? How much do I have? Am I okay waiting for that interest rate to kick in? And, you can get those big home runs. If you want to make this go as fast as possible, then start flipping some tax deeds. Figure out, are you in a deed state? Find the closest deed sales happening to you. Go there. Figure out when those sales are. And remember, grab this mini course. This thing walks you through it step by step, exactly what to do, what to say, and where to go. We've taken these DVDs from back in the day, put them on demand so you can get them. We do not sell this book anymore. We do not ship it. You get it for free. Or if you want my help, there's a link below. Book a one-on-one call and we'll build you a custom action plan and we'll save you 3 to 5 years of time and trial and error and messing around in this business. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the video a thumbs up if you like it. Ask a question in the comments. Always love to hear from you. We'll see you in the next live. Talk to you soon.